I'm. They're definitely like. I'm going to be curious to see how everything ends here with season 3, but I'm liking what they're doing so far.
They do. I like having just a bunch of Mandos around. Makes me happy.
Yeah.
And a lot of I don't give a shit. I love all the cute stuff my little boy does.
So you're caught up with The Mandalorian 2? Like season 3 and everything too?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I love everything Grogu's doing. I think it's amazing.
You watched Jar Jar save Grogu?
Yeah, that was great. Good for him.
Yeah.
The
Kelleran Beck.
Which is he's reprising a role he originated on a game show. So he played that character on he was the host of a Star Wars game show on Disney Plus for a little bit.
Yeah, it was like a Legends of the Hidden Temple kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or it's like Jedi Temple something.
Yeah. But I liked when fucking Mando's just like, all right, boy, it's time to fucking take part in this shit. And they do the little fucking the face off with the other foundling for the with the darts.
Yeah,
the paintball darts.
Paintball little session.
Foundling just fucking toasts Grogu 2 times. And then fucking he looks up at fucking Mando, and Mando's just like, dude, just fucking show him what you can do. And then he just fucking schools that little boy. I fucking loved it.
So that's interesting to me. Like, you know, I think a lot of us were kind of questioning, like, obviously when he split from Mando, it was like, is he going to be a Jedi? Might he go down the path of a Mandalorian? Might he not do either?
Yeah.
So seeing them start to go down this path of him being trained as a Mandalorian, I'm like, dude, let's fucking see this through.
Well, a lot of people are saying that the show's title, Mandalorian, is about Grogu.
Yeah,
the Mandalorian.
When my little boy got his fucking new piece of armor, that was good. Dude, what if the end of this like flashes forward far into the future, and you got fucking grown Grogus fucking leading the Mandos?
Yeah, so that's the thing is like, no matter what, if he's not killed, Grogu's gonna outlive every other character on this show. So like, where does that lead? Do you think even if we don't see that in this show, that they might bring Grogu back as a character later in his own thing, or like, you know, in something?
Very true.
He's starting to. You can notice in this season he's starting to make strides to talking too.
He said this is the way.
Did he?
That was his first.
Yeah,
it was one of his first words.
Broken as fuck. Like it was like, you know, his first words basically. But he.
I didn't notice that.
He gargled. He gargled 3 times. So it's like, this is the way.
I listened to it a few times back to back, and they do like form it into just more like he's like, you know, it's getting there.
Yeah, he's starting to talk. My little boy's growing up before my eyes, dude.
Mando says it, then Bo says it back to him for the first time, of like really buying in, and then Grogu chimes in, and they both look at each other and have a moment of like, shit, did he just fucking say that?
I don't care what anybody says. That boy's my son.
I love
boy
it.
Is my son.
I'm past any like weird like feelings about it. I fucking love this little kid.
Yep.
Him and his papa.
I do. I don't care.
Well, I think it's kind of serendipitous that the character Kelleran Beck, who was, you know, a Jedi from a previously established game show featured like kids, is the one to protect a kid and get the kid out of Dodge, you know?
Yeah.
That was probably if you look into his lore, or if they expand that, he'll probably be somebody that like did like, you know, he worked with Padawans and younglings and helped them transition into living with part of the Order.
Well, we know from Obi-Wan also that Quinlan Voss helped kids escape too, or other things.
My other boy of boys.
Yeah, he's a good boy, that Quinlan.
He is, dude.
One thing that I would like to see explored pretty soon is to figure out exactly where what some of the motivations are, and where some people lie on sides of the fence. Because, you know, I want to know, you know, Din has the Darksaber. Does he have any motivations towards leading Mandalore, if not leading, just uniting them and then handing off leadership to somebody else.
But you saw in this last episode, or in the not last episode, the episode before, when he goes to the living waters, he's still having a hell of a time fucking using it, and then fucking Bo-Katan picks it up and just uses it willy-nilly, just easy as shit.
She's had history
with
it, though.
Yeah,
and then she sees the
mythosaur, right?
And there are things that have been happening too that are like
the mythosaur emblem now that she has.
Mm-hmm. So clearly she has some ambition towards like at least uniting people, if not trying to still lead them.
Yeah, I could see it though ending up like though she's the rightful whatever bearer of it. I could see her making some sort of sacrifice or whatever, and that fucking gets Mando to the point he needs to be,
Or are they gonna, have another Mandalorian civil war where people are falling on his side and people are falling on her side?
Yeah, both depends. Yeah. There's also another interesting thing is this season Paz Vizsla is not voiced by Favreau. He's voiced by the guy in the armor, who's been in the armor. So people are wondering if that means that something's going to happen where he loses his helmet at some point. You know what I mean? Because it's like, why make that switch if for no reason? Well,
what would be the point of like him losing his helmet and them having because there was like an action figure that was it's like going to be released or was released or something like that where it's Paz with his helmet off and it is Favreau's head, and it might have just been like here's a fun thing we did. I don't know.
Yeah, like a con exclusive maybe, or
who knows.
But yeah, because otherwise it's not. He could just keep voicing the character. It's not like something that's taking too much time away from him. I think that there has to be a reason.
Because maybe he's going to lose his helmet, or there is some,
or it comes off at the very least. More so is what I mean.
Yeah, or it comes, but like maybe that action figure is sort of ominous in a way where it's like foreshadowing that later on this season, due to the influence or leadership of maybe Bo or Din or somebody, is like, hey guys, let's take our helmets off. We're cool, we know the way, we're following the way, but we can take our helmets off. It's all good.
Yeah, maybe something happens where they kind of break with the way,
Or Din, fucking holds up the dark saber and is like, fire! In the sky, and they're all like, yeah! And then he's like, all right, peeps! Just takes off his helmet and they all do it too. I don't know.
There's another rumor that the armorer is going to turn out to be this one Mandalorian, female Mandalorian that was in Death Watch. That was kind of a nemesis of sorts with Bo-Katan from Clone Wars.
She's got the horns on her helmet.
I was gonna say she aligned with Maul when that happened, so that would explain the horns on her helmet.
I feel like they would, at this point, like they have to go into some of the backstory of the armorer. Otherwise, at some point we need to know why she knows as much as she does and why she kind of has like the authority outside of their culture. Like she must have had some sort of importance.
She mentions it in one of the episodes, like what her purpose is and how she leads the covert. And
but that has to do, like I said, with their culture, less with the actual like backstory of. It's not just she could be anybody. She could be anybody who's leading them in that way. But she's this one person who has this specific set of knowledge, and that has to come from somewhere and not just being a leader.
Right.
She should have a backstory. I agree with you, but yeah, there's things about
I'm sure we'll get
her.
there.
There's things about her, the culture, is like what it means to be an armorer of a covert, and like why it's so important for her to divulge this knowledge about like the greatest thing you can do for the Mandalorians is save a youngling or save a foundling and things like that, and like what that means. It's because like they're already a dying breed, I guess. and to save one of the up and coming people to, prolong the survivability of them, because their life expectancy, their creed makes them are put into harsh situations and they will die. Their shelf life is very small.
Right. So it happens when you're a warrior race, though, right?
Yeah.
And that scene when Mando and Bo and I think Paz, when they're coming back from the hunt with the big bat bird thing, and they're coming back with the foundling and all that. They're stepping off the ship. They're returning successful from this big mission that everybody was worried about and shit. That's not the first time that Din or Bo has stepped up and done something to be significant for them, right? So I feel like in that moment where they're coming off the ramp with the foundling, everybody should be just be all right, these two, they get shit done. No question about anything. We should not question their capability to get shit done.
And they got some big shrieky boy dragon foundlings now.
Yeah. I think that is setting up the idea of maybe Bo even writing a mythosaur this season, or not this season, but in the future.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Because they're we have their foundlings. They're going to be part of the creed, but they're going to be our mounts probably.
Well, they're going to retake Mandalore. That's where I think this is going. Is Din knows that the living waters are okay, and it's somewhat breathable there, and I mean, you can inhabit it, and there's just creepy things, but you can go there again.
They're down under the surface at that convention center, whatever they called it, and clearly it's dangerous and clearly it's not great conditions, but you can breathe there. They made a little camp, they're, if you get the who's to say that you can't just build? And they're always saying I think Din even says, he's it's not cursed. Air's breathable, stuff's good. And why don't we do anything about going back there? And Bo-Katan's just because it's all glass and it's all ash now. It's well, sure, but fucking build on top of the ash. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You keep saying the same thing over and over again about it's destroyed the Empire. They turned it all to glass. It's all is that stopping you somehow?
Yeah, that was another fun thing that...
It's still a planet. It's still a breathable atmosphere of chunk of rock in space.
Was it that R5 unit? That was in his ship? That was hilarious.
The one from A New Hope?
Yeah, was it R4 or R5?
R5.
I think it was R5.
R5D4.
Yeah, so, I mean, his just...
R5D's nuts.
How he was so...
I knew it.
He was so scared. He's just an astromech that's scared to do his job. He's like, fuck this, I don't want to go.
I think he found his courage by the end.
He did. He found it. What a great...
by the end of the episode, he was you know what? It still sucks, but I can do some stuff. I was thinking about it, and I rewatched all of The Mandalorian. And it's just season 1, they had a moment where the armorers forging something intercut with a flashback of Din, they just did for Grogu, and it seems like they're kind of mirroring some stuff to be hey, Grogu's gonna keep going down this Mandalorian path. We're gonna see that.
They're both foundlings. Yeah.
Just it'll be interesting. I did read some supposed leaks, but I don't know how I really much I believe that. Pretty outlandish.
I was so excited to see my Zeb boy.
God, he looked so good.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
I had to it's that came on, and I was like, wait a minute. Is that? And then I heard the voice, I'm like, oh, is that? And I was like, I don't know any other Lasats, because I know most of them got wiped the fuck out.
Yeah, and that's a shame too, because now that we've seen it live action, it's they look so good. Why can't we have more of them?
Right. Well, more exists, because at the end of Rebels, Zeb brings what's his nuts, the former Imperial dude that ends up helping him out. Forget his name,
Callus.
But ends up bringing him to the planet where the rest of them are hanging out.
Mm-hmm.
But But yeah, so I was like, I'm just gonna wait till the credits roll, and the credits rolled, and I saw Zeb, Steve Bloom, and I was like, oh hell yeah, because he was the only one we weren't sure of if he was gonna show up or not. Because like,
I think they have to.
We
at
know
this point. It's kind of weird, but I think with all the stuff that's happening with Ahsoka coming up, they're gonna expand on the whole Rebels side of story like pretty soon.
We know the rest. We know the rest of the Rebels crew shows up. We just didn't know if our boy Zeb was going to show up at all. So I get that.
I'll be satisfied when I see Chopper. Okay.
He's in it. He's in it. Chopper's in it. Hera's in it. Sabine.
So, do you think we might get Force Ghost Freddie Prinze Jr. or some shit?
Oh, dude, that'd be tight. In Ahsoka.
Force Freddy?
I didn't even think about that. Force Freddy, dude?
How old was Sabine in Rebels? She was young, I know, but like
probably in her 20s, maybe.
In her 20s, yeah. So at this time, that would put her maybe
late teens, 20s. Yeah.
Because this is like how many years after Rebels?
So Rebels, the final season took place like right before Episode 4.
Oh, okay.
And then Mando takes place, like, I think like 9 or so years after. I think
after
the Battle of Yavin,
Return of the Jedi.
Yeah. After Jedi, it's like
Really?
6 years. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, fair enough. 6 years seems pretty reasonable.
Battle of Yavin's like 6 years after Jedi, I think.
So, okay.
Roughly.
So, I've watched the episode of Rebels where Ezra fucking fucks around with the space whales, but what do you think? What do you think that means that Grogu saw them like? And that's an interesting thing too. Is Grogu saw the space whales while Din was like unconscious? He was the only one present, saw that, and Bo was the only one who saw the mythosaur while Din was unconscious. So like that's two characters witnessing like these, big events on their own. We know kind of what that represents for Bo, but what does that mean for little boy?
Might mean that Ezra's trying to communicate through them to other force sensitive people.
That's possible, or it's just a sign to show that Grogu's still like spiritually connected to the Force. That's possible too.
Yeah, I mean, I just didn't. I both of those kind of similar ideas crossed my mind. I just didn't know if there was like, I don't know, something bigger that I was maybe missing out on.
Yeah, I don't think Grogu knows the significance of those whales as of yet, but he does.
I don't think so.
No.
Maybe
he's a little boy.
He felt a weird connection. Maybe like you could see him like really enamored. I guess.
And then he went and snuggled with Papa.
I was like, oh,
yeah.
They put me at ease. I'm gonna calm down now.
Yep.
Made me sleepy.
Space whales.
You'll do that. It's like you listen to whales before you go to bed.
Little boy, you see a whale and you're like, oh.
Yep.
I must communicate.
Out of your cockpit window. Whoa!
Yeah. That little boy.
That little boy.
Also, fucking Tava's leather jacket was tight as fuck.
Oh yeah.
His like rebel jacket they had.
Bomber jacket, yeah.
Thing was thick.
It looks cool.
Yeah. I'm. It was fun to see some pirates.
Yeah, dude. Well, it was funny because we were talking about the pirates coming back. We were talking about Moff Gideon. We were talking about like rebel ship, and then like all that shit we were talking about all happened in that episode. I was like, all right.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what they might cover this next one. Maybe it's a Bo-focused episode where she goes around and does her shit.
Yep. Yeah, because I don't know if they'll continue the Gideon shit like right away, or if they're gonna keep that as like a tail end of episode thing until it becomes a real deal. But
and we're this next one is going to be what number episode? Like episode 6?
6, I think.
Yeah. And there was like, how many of season 2? There was like,
I don't know, dude.
yeah.
I think they said around 10, but
Oh.
let me check. Take a little peeksy doodle.
We can put that Chris Pine into an AI and like put him in situations.
Bonk.
8 episodes this season.
Oh. So, they might have been
And
putting
there's
that
5
getting-
so far. 5 so far.
Yeah. They very well were probably putting that getting thing at the tail end of this one that we've had to be like, all right, bitches,
Mm-hmm.
booting up for the end.
Yep.
Just a little FYI, if you guys didn't know, the original uncut 1954 Gojira is on YouTube for free, and you can watch it in 1080p.
Oh, interesting.
Fucking sick, dude.
Watched that earlier tonight.
All right.
How does it differ from the one that's on like HBO Max?
I don't know. I don't know, like, if they have. I haven't watched the one on HBO Max, so I don't know if it's like been edited or
Right.
any different than the version that's on YouTube. But
Right.
I would imagine it's the real deal.